no, it's happening again. Atlanta is underwater. Just minutes after 7 p.m., what began as a typical summer downpour turned into a nightmare. Rainfall rates shot up to nearly 3 inches per hour, something rarely seen in an urban environment. Within minutes, entire stretches of Interstate 75 disappeared under fast-moving water. Ramps leading to Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport transformed into shallow rivers, stranding drivers, flooding engines, and halting ground operations at one of the busiest airports in the world. Videos began to surface. Cars stalled, headlights dimmed underwater. Terrified voices echoed through the city. "I may not make it out of here, wish me luck." This wasn't just a storm. This was a sudden, brutal collapse of Atlanta's infrastructure, and the city never saw it coming. By 8:30 p.m., radar screens across the region lit up with alarming signals, deep, unbroken bands of precipitation stretching from midtown Atlanta to the outer suburbs like spokes on a wheel. Meteorologists watched in disbelief as wave after wave of torrential rain built up over the city, locked in place by a stalled weather system. Counties across the metro area, Fulton, DeKalb, Clayton, Cobb, and Gwinnett, were hit simultaneously. Within minutes, every one of them was placed under flash flood warnings. Cell phones buzzed and screamed with emergency alerts, their piercing tones cutting through the quiet of homes, restaurants, and car radios. For many, it was already too late. Roads turned into traps. What looked like a shallow puddle quickly swallowed entire vehicles. Drivers found themselves stranded, unable to move forward or turn back. Water surged through intersections and underpasses, sweeping away anything in its path. First responders were overwhelmed with 911 calls, some from cars, some from rooftops. Entire communities found themselves suddenly isolated. Forest Park, College Park, Grant Park neighborhoods with families, businesses, and decades of history now cut off by rising water. People grabbed what they could, phones, pets, children, and fled for higher ground. Across the metro, creeks that usually meander quietly through parks and backyards became raging forces of destruction. Peachtree Creek, Camp Creek, and dozens of other smaller tributaries surged over their banks, overwhelming drainage systems designed for a fraction of this water volume. Basements flooded, storm grates exploded, manhole covers popped open from the pressure below. In low-lying neighborhoods, residents watched helplessly as water crept over porches, through doorways, and up stairwells. In some places, it happened in minutes. There was no time to prepare, no time to save valuables, only time to escape by nightfall. The heart of Atlanta was underwater, not from a hurricane or a dam failure, but from rain that simply wouldn't stop. First responders were immediately overwhelmed. Calls poured in from across the city. Drivers stranded beneath overpasses, families trapped in flooded homes, pedestrians swept off sidewalks. In one terrifying moment, a car was caught beneath an underpass. Water rose so fast it filled the cabin in seconds. Firefighters rushed in waist-deep currents to rescue those inside. The phrase echoed again and again through radio channels and emergency bulletins. "Turn around! Don't drown!" And yet, the damage was already done. While floodwaters wreaked havoc on the roads, another battle was raging in the skies and across the power grid. Winds reaching up to 50 miles per hour ripped down tree limbs and power lines. Transformers sparked and exploded. By 10 p.m., over 40,000 customers were without power, from midtown Atlanta all the way to Cherokee County. Entire blocks went dark. Sirens replaced streetlights at the airport. Chaos unfolded in real time. All flights were grounded. The usually buzzing concourses at Hartsfield-Jackson, one of the busiest airports in the world, fell eerily still. The departure boards lit up with wave after wave of cancellations and delays. Passengers stared in disbelief, bags at their feet, phones in hand, desperately refreshing for updates that never came. Thousands of people were suddenly stranded. Some sat motionless inside planes that never left the gate, the runways too waterlogged. To support takeoff, others were left inside the terminal, searching for space to lie down on the hard tile floors, using backpacks as pillows and jackets as blankets. Vending machines emptied fast. Charging stations became lifelines. Outside, sheets of rain hammered the glass walls of the terminal. Lightning flashed in the distance. The roads leading in and out of the airport, normally packed with taxis, rides, and shuttle buses, were now submerged under several feet of water. Vehicles stalled in long lines, their headlights glowing underwater. No one could get in. No one could get out. Air traffic controllers made the call to pause all arrivals and departures, safety first. The tarmac was flooding. Visibility was collapsing. Planes were rerouted midair, some sent to cities hundreds of miles away. Pilots waited for word that never came. Inside, maintenance crews scrambled. They checked drainage pumps, mopped up leaks, tried to redirect water seeping through service entrances, but it wasn't enough. The rain was winning and they knew it. Every passing minute made the situation worse. They weren't managing an airport anymore. They were managing a crisis. For thousands of travelers, the world's busiest airport had become an island cut off, overwhelmed, and at the mercy of a storm no one could outrun. The storm, described by forecasters as nothing short of monsoon-like, is expected to linger well through the weekend. This isn't just a passing system. It's a slow-moving wall of moisture, trapped in place by hypersure zones to the east and stalled jet streams above. While there may be short pockets of calm and hour of sunshine here, a break in the clouds there they won't last. Every afternoon and evening through Sunday brings the threat of new thunderstorms. Heavy, repetitive, unpredictable, and the waiting game. Doesn't end there. Meteorologists say relief won't come until midweek, when a cold front finally begins to push the moisture out of the region. But between now and then, the city remains on high alert. Temperatures are expected to hover in the upper 70s, not high enough to dry the ground, but just warm enough to fuel more atmospheric instability. And with the humidity climbing by the hour, every drop of moisture in the air becomes potential fuel for the next storm cell. It's a dangerous combination, because here, in this city, the ground is already saturated, fully soaked from days of relentless rain. Drainage systems are still backed up. Creeks are swollen. Every additional downpour raises the risk of flash flooding all over again. Streets that just started drying could vanish once more under brown rushing water. And neighborhoods that escaped the worst so far may not be so lucky if even one more storm hits just right. For now, residents are being urged to stay alert, monitor forecasts, and avoid travel unless absolutely necessary. Because even with the storm's peak behind us, the danger isn't over. The most destructive moments often come in the aftermath, when people least expect them. City officials have now activated a full-scale emergency response plan. Every department is mobilized. Shelters have been opened across the most flood-prone neighborhoods, schools turned into safe havens, community centers offering dry beds, food, and blankets to those who fled with nothing. Highway patrol is on high alert, blocking flooded lanes, rerouting traffic, and preparing for overnight rescues. Real-time updates are being pushed out online and over the airwaves. GPS. Evacuation routes changing by the hour as conditions worsen block by block. The message from officials is loud and clear. Stay off the roads. Avoid unnecessary travel. Follow every weather alert like your life depends on it, because tonight it just might as darkness falls. The work only intensifies. Overnight, city crews will work through the storm nonstop without rest. Chainsaws in hand, they'll clear massive fallen trees from roads. Firefighters and utility workers will wade through chest-deep water to reset blown transformers and restore blinking traffic lights. Industrial pumps will be deployed to drain sunken intersections where water has pooled dangerously fast. And out in the flooded neighborhoods, emergency teams will return to their boats' flashlights, scanning the darkness, radios crackling with calls for help. They'll pull stranded families from rooftops, check in on the elderly, and deliver supplies to cut-off homes. Rain pounding their helmets, wind in their faces, but they'll keep going. Power line technicians will climb slippery poles in the pouring rain, working with high-voltage cables, sometimes with only the beam of a headlamp and the hope that no branch above gives way. They'll do it in the dark, in silence. While most of the city sleeps, they'll be risking everything to give others another chance at morning. Because in moments like these, it's not just about saving property, it's about saving lives. And through it all, one truth becomes undeniable. A single heavy burst of rain, just one, can shut down an entire city. This is not the first time Atlanta has flooded. The city has seen rising creeks, waterlogged roads, and stormy nights before. But what makes tonight different is the speed, the intensity, the helplessness. This wasn't a slow-moving threat that gave people time to prepare. This was sudden, unforgiving, relentless. In some neighborhoods, residents had less than 10 minutes before water came knocking at their doors. 10 minutes to gather what they could, to decide between staying or fleeing, to protect their families. A father was seen carrying his young son through waist-deep water, his arms trembling not from the weight, but from fear. Behind him, headlights of an abandoned car flickered under the rising flood. Just blocks away, a mother stood atop her SUV, screaming for help as brown water surged beneath her tires, swirling faster with every second. Her child clutched her waist, crying, as sirens echoed in the distance, but didn't come fast enough. These aren't just numbers on a weather map. They aren't just rainfall totals or radar patterns. These are human stories, moments of panic, Moments of
In
courage,
Central Texas
moments of
tonight, a
survival.
catastrophic
People didn't
flood
just lose
emergency.
homes, they
At least
faced the
13
unimaginable,
people are dead,
and in some
according to
cases,
authorities,
beat it.
including
They held on to
children, and
loved
at least
ones, they
20
knocked on
kids are
neighbors' doors
missing
to
from a
help.
summer camp
They climbed to
after a
attics,
sudden
they ran
surge
barefoot
along
into the night,
Guadalupe River,
they prayed,
north of San
they
Antonio.
screamed,
There's
they
gonna be a
waited,
mass casualty.
because at the heart of every flood is a face, a name. A story that deserves to be heard. As Atlanta turns its eyes to the skies, there's one more twist. While Georgia battles floodwaters, severe storms are now forming over the northern plains. The National Weather Service has issued tornado watches across parts of North and South Dakota. Thunderstorm cells are rapidly gaining strength, some with visible rotation. Hail the size of golf balls is already falling in areas like Wells County. Wind gusts topping 60 miles per hour are knocking out power and uprooting trees, and the night is still young. If there's one lesson from tonight's chaos, it's this. Whether you're in the heart of Atlanta or on the plains of North Dakota, nature does not wait for us to be ready. Cities flood, trees fall, power disappears, and in a moment, everything changes. We will continue to track the damage, the rescues, and the recovery. Our thoughts are with every family affected. To those waiting out the storm, stay inside, stay safe, and whatever you do, don't underestimate the power of water. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for real-time updates and share this video to keep others informed. The more people who stay aware, the more lives we can help protect.